Okay, welcome to today's session, and yes, confirm. Welcome to today's session. My name is Victor Manuel from KodeCamp, and we're going to be doing a brief introduction to SketchUp. Hope you can hear me. If you can hear me, please use the chat box. If you can hear me, please use the chat box. Yes, I see all of you. Thank you very much. Okay. Okay, SketchUp is a 3D modeling tool. You can see you can actually produce 3D models with ease with SketchUp. Yes, it was created to be easy to use, very, very easy to use. And though there are some things SketchUp itself does not have, and that's where you will be needing some extra plugins and extensions, but we'll get to that not today. So for today, let's just get started. Let me do some things and let me uncheck some of these things. I have to take this out. I have to take this out. And, some of these things, just take this one out. I'll leave them. I'll just leave those. I'll leave those ones. Let me do some little housekeeping. Like so, this will stay here. This is going this way. This is going this way. Okay, yeah. When you launch SketchUp, this is not the screen that greets you. You meet a screen, first of all. I will have to load that one up. When it comes up, I'll show you. But on a very, 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 very light note, this will be your working screen with SketchUp. Of course, you may have noticed this will be your work area. This is where you do most of your job. In fact, almost everything you'll be doing in SketchUp will be done here, apart from where you need to go to another application to render and all that. But when you launch SketchUp for the first time, this is the screen that greets you. Let me load it up now. I'm trying to load up the screen that greets you. I think SketchUp is having some time with It's trying to think through things. Okay, now let me show you the screen. This is it. Can you see the screen? Please, if you can see the screen, use the chat box, say yes. I have Tuesday said yes, okay. You can see the screen. If you can see the screen, and if you can hear me, okay, you can see the screen, jump up and see the screen. Tuesday can see the screen, okay. All right, so when you load SketchUp for the first time, or whenever you open SketchUp, this is the screen that greets you. I think you can turn it off, but that's not our concern now. So if you notice, you see something like files, you see, of course, the SketchUp brand and all that. You see, these are templates, yeah? These are templates. If you have an account with SketchUp, this is where it shows up and all that. So these are templates. These are created by SketchUp for you to easily use the software. So we have simple. This one is my favorite actually. Simple, so we see it this way. So you have simple meters, simple inches, architectural inches, architectural millimeters, architectural centimeters. You see these ones, you see plan view and all that. So I don't want to bore you with all this. So these are templates. These are templates that you can get from SketchUp. So now the next one is oh, sorry about that. I think I muted myself. Okay, where was I? Okay, yeah, these are templates. Let me start there. So these are templates, predefined templates by SketchUp. So you can choose any of these templates to start your drawing from, or you can decide to open an existing file. Let's say you want to work on a file someone has given to you or something. you can decide to open it up here and start using it or start working on it. And the next one is learn. If you want to learn more about SketchUp, you can just go to this one. And we're not going to do that. Of course, it's for licensing, like to license the software. Okay, so that's it about this introduction tab, the welcome to SketchUp tab. That's not my concern for now. What we should be doing now is going straight to the usage of SketchUp. And that's what we're going to be doing now. So I'm going to share that screen like so. And here we are. If you can see the screen, please use the chat box. If you can see the screen, please use the chat box. Say yes. Okay. And yeah, I believe you all can see my screen now. Okay, so now if you look here at your left hand side, the top left, you see something like file, edit, view, camera, draw, tools, window, extensions, and help. Their names can actually give you a clue of what they're all about. Like with the files, you can actually manage your drawing. So you can open a new file, you can open from templates, you can open an existing file. You can actually save as templates or whatever and all that. You can explore them on your own. Of course, we have print and all these. So you can explore all that on your own. The next one is edit, where you actually do some editing, like undo, copy, paste, and all that. It's quite different from AutoCAD. A little bit different from AutoCAD. Well, I believe you get the idea. This make components, make a group. Make a group is like you're trying to group everything together. Then make a component. I will talk about this sometime in the future. It's not something we'll talk about now, but I'll talk about it sometime in the future. Of course, I'll cover it up. So that's about edit. This one, view, you can actually set up some views, camera setup, perspective, and all that. So if I turn this off, it will be like this. So you see. Okay, so we'll talk about this later on, so I'm not going to bore you. So we have 2-point perspective and others. Let me just drop it there, because this one looks more realistic. Okay, now draw tools. You can pick your line and do all those kind of things, freehand drawing, art, and all these things that you see here from the draw tools, we have them here. Next one are tools, like we can actually use any of these tools, and they are all here. So this window can give you access to some of the settings and preference. If you want to check the model info, like this model info, you can come here to do that and make some adjustments to the settings, like so. It's loading up, so this thing is yes. So we have this model info. You can actually change your units from there. Of course, you can set up the text and how you want them to be displayed on SketchUp. Your rendering, of course, we are going to be using an extension for rendering, so this doesn't matter for now. By the way, we'll go over all these things and just quickly doing an overview of this. Outside model info, you have your preferences where you can set up how you want SketchUp to operate. Yes, like you can set up your shortcuts, accessibility, application compatibility, and all that. So for now, we're just going to leave them until we need to do some setup there. Extensions. Okay, we have only one extension installed currently, which is V-Ray for SketchUp, and of course, you can see. We'll talk about them later. Of course, if you need help, you can go here. Can you hear me? Can you see my screen? Oh, can you hear me? Can you see my screen? Okay. So let's continue. Now, over here, we have the pick tool. Some people call it select. Yeah, of course, SketchUp calls it select. With that, you can actually select faces and objects around the SketchUp working area. So with this, you can select, these are faces. Yeah, I told you about faces. These are all faces. But if you group them, let's say you go like this and do Control G. Or no, Ctrl G will not work in SketchUp. Ctrl G will not work with SketchUp. If you highlight it, click and drag to select. After you highlight it, you right click and then you make group. Just like you can come to edit and then you make group. Like so. So you see it there. Start with group. You can explode it if you want to ungroup it. Or you can edit group to go inside of the group and edit it. So that's on the lighter note. I'm just talking about the select tool now. Let me do something. Just going to make copies of this and make another copy of this. Okay, so I'll do this. I will explode this one. This will be a group. And I will make this a component. I'll just have to right click and make a component like so. And for a component, I need to name it. Now, you know about blocks in AutoCAD. I know I talked about blocks some time ago. So components here works like blocks. Yes, components work like blocks. So if you see a component in SketchUp, so we're going to name this component. Yes, we're just going to name the component. Then we'll leave all the settings on and just create, just for illustration purposes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight all of them and copy them. Don't worry, we'll get to talk about how to copy. It's quite different from what we have in. Okay, so I'm going to copy this for the illustration I want to make. Now let's see something. I want to show you the difference between normal object that is not grouped and a grouped object, and then a component. That's just what I want to talk about now. Now this is a normal 3D mass in SketchUp. You can see you can select all the faces just by clicking on them, like so. I can select the faces like so. But with a group, you can see I can only select the entire object once I click. Once I select it, the entire object will be selected because they are all grouped together. You get. But for this one, I can select each face like so. And I can also select all the edges. Like so if I delete this edge, you see that this is no longer a face because there is no connection between this point and this point. So if I pick my line tool and connect this point and this point, you see it come back to 3D mass, like so. Did you get that? Did you get that? I hope you got that. Okay. So having said that about the first one, you know that for this one, if I select, I will select the faces directly or the edges directly. And whenever I delete like so, once I select the face, you see them selected all along. And this is because they are all group. And if I decide to delete, Okay, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me, please? I'm really sorry. I had an issue. Can you hear me? Jean Paul and Cheesy. Okay. I'm really sorry about that. Where did I stop? Where did I stop, please? Can someone tell me? Can someone remind me? Okay. I think I'll just have to go over this again because I won't assume you heard what I said before now. Okay, so now what I said was that for the normal models that are not grouped, you can select them directly, and if you delete any parts, of course, only that part will be deleted. The selected part will be deleted like so. And if you want to edit any part, you can just decide to edit them directly. Yes. Not block and components. It was not block. I didn't say block. I said just a normal 3D mass and components. I was trying to differentiate between them. I was trying to differentiate between a normal 3D mass that is not grouped, and I was trying to talk about a grouped 3D mass and then a component. So that's what I was trying to explain. I was trying to explain the difference. Now, for a normal 3D mass, you can actually edit them directly without having to go into the group. Already, if you double click on it, that part, that face will be selected. If you triple click, it means you want to select everything, like so, 1, 2, 3. Yes, that's for a normal 3D mass because, okay, you see, they are naked. I think that's the word. They are just naked. They are not covered. They are not grouped. So I think that's the word. So you can easily edit them like so, and then maneuver because of course they are not grouped. Okay, now the next one I want to talk about here is a grouped 3D mass. Like you see, once you select, everything is selected because they are all grouped together. Yes, they have a bond. So now if I double click on it, I can go into the group and start editing, just like I can edit a naked 3D mass. I decide to edit this one, drag as much as I want, and drag this as much as I want to. So we have that out. So now for this other one, this is a component. And if you noticed, while I was editing these two, they were all edited separately. It did not affect the other instances. But for this component, look what happens. Once I double click on this component, anything I do here, the change will automatically be done here also, because they are all instances of this particular object. All these ones are instances of this object. So you see them like so. All these ones are instances of this object. Okay, so all these are instances of this particular mass, this particular 3D mass. So anything I make, any changes I make here, will be also made here. So you see them, the changes like so. So if I decide to push pull one of these, you see it's happening to these other ones. So it can actually help you, just like we have the blocks in AutoCAD, yeah? Just like we have the blocks in AutoCAD. So you can actually use this to your advantage whenever you want to make a change to one object and allow the change to be made in all other objects, you can use a component. And it's the rule of thumb to actually make something a component you know you will be repeating. Anything that you will be repeating, just like blocks, you know, you want to make furniture that you will be repeating in AutoCAD, you have to make it a block. So whenever you make a change to one of them, it affects all of them. It also applies here. If you know you're going to be using that more than once, any object you're going to be using more than once, as a rule of thumb, it is good to actually make it a component. Understand? It's actually good to make it a component. Okay, now, so we'll go over, I've talked about my select tool, and I use also that instance to explain the difference between a grouped 3D mass, a component, and a normal 3D mass, just like we have here. So please, do you understand what I just said? If you understand, please type understood using the chat box. Okay, that's good. John Paul, are you on this call? Okay. All right. So now let's continue. I haven't talked about this. I'm going to skip some others. I'm going to skip. Okay, I've already talked about make component. Now it's quite easy. You group something. By the way, if you click on any naked mass like this, yes, I'll be calling them naked solid mass. If you triple click on it, it selects the entire mass of that 3D solid. So, and do this, you're actually making it a component. So you have to name the component and then click on create. So that's the process for that. Of course, you can right click and make components. So that's a shortcut. After now, I'll talk about setting up shortcuts. Maybe that will be in our next classes as we proceed. So this one here is a paint bucket. We all know what a paint bucket is, a bucket full of paints. Now with the paint buckets, you can actually add colors or materials. You can actually add materials to your model. In this case, we have to actually bring up this default tray. So I'm going to pin it here. So it stays like so. Now, if I come over to materials, and trust me, it's not hard. So don't think it's a new thing and it's going to be hard. This one is not hard. It's as easy as it can be to kill that idea that it is hard. I know somebody will be like, wow, there's another tab there I did not talk about. This is like our default tray. This is the tray. So this is where you see information like your information about the model, and you see things like your materials, the components existing. So if I go to components, you see the components existing in this particular model. We have this component created, of course, this is the component created, and we have Laura. You remember Laura? Laura was the lady standing here. Yeah, so those are the two components that we have there. Well, I won't talk about this for now. I'm just going to go over to materials. Yeah, this material tab there. So with this material, you can actually select materials to apply to your model. So currently we're in home. Just select home. You see default colors. These are paints. We don't want to use these ones. As you can see, they are in model materials. These ones are materials that are already in this model. These colors were selected because of Laura. If you go to the components here, you see all these colors here are because of Laura. Let me bring Laura out. Yes, you see she has a pink skin. So we have this skin. Of course, you can see the name Laura's skin. You can see the color of address also is here. And the darker part of it that shows highlights, we have them here. We have the belts. I think this is it. Yeah, and the bag also. This should be the bag. No, these are the shoes, and this is the hair of Laura. Where is Laura's bag? It did not give us the color for Laura's bag. Okay, the bag and the shoe are the same. So the pants, we have them there, yeah, and the glasses. So that's not what we'll focus on. This is just trying to tell you that, okay, whatever color you've applied to any model here, you have the colors here. So that's what I was trying to explain there. So I'm going to delete Laura, she's gone. Of course, if you delete it, and as far as the components or whatever is still here, you will still see the color in model or all the materials you use in the model. Now let's go over to some other part of the materials. We have other things here. We have materials, we have 3D printing, asphalt and concrete. We have as much as can be. You can also import materials, but we'll talk about that later on. For now, let's check the materials. We have different types of materials. So we have 3D printing materials, we have asphalt and concrete, we have bricks, cladding and siding, we have carpet, we have colors, we have colors named, like these colors has their own name attached to them. Okay, so see this one, pale violet, violet red, medium violet red. Okay, so Celestine is not on this call, Mauritian is not on this call. I think they would have given us one of their favorite colors like cockroach yellow or something. So since they're not on this call, we have to continue without them, thank God. Okay, now we're going next to other things like we have bricks. You can decide to choose from the bricks and cladding to have here. Let's say you want to apply this brick to this face, and just come here and drop it. And you have it like so. So you see, you have the walls like so. You can actually edit this, but we're not going to talk about that today. I'm just trying to talk about the paint bucket. So any material you select from here and apply it, this is a group. Now, see the difference now. This one is being applied to the faces, right? I apply them to the faces like so. So any face I tap will be applied, and the material will be applied to that face, like so. So now, what if I apply this to a group? What if I apply this to a group? Look what will happen. It applies to all faces because it's a group. It's treating it as one entity. Did you see this? Do you understand that? Please use the chat box. Okay, thank you very much. Okay. Yes, understood. Seen and understood. Okay, cheese is with me, always. Cheese is my man. All right, okay. Now we've done that. You've seen the application of materials on faces, like so. And even come to this tiny part and drop one. Let me look for what to drop there. I would like to use a siding. Yes, this siding. I'll drop it here. Yes, so we have it. So it looks like this. It looks like a channel. Okay, I haven't done that. Now, see the components. If I apply it to one of these components, I will have to go into the component now and select the material and apply it to this component. See what happens to the rest. You see, applied it to this face, it affected this face and this face. If I apply it to this face like so, you see it happen. See it affecting all other faces, even here and there, because these two are instances of this particular component. So anything you apply here, it will be also applied there automatically. Do you understand that? This cladding, I think I should use this cladding and apply it to this component. Now, see what happened here. Because I applied it outside of the component and not inside, you see it did not affect these other ones. Because I applied it outside the component and not inside. So you see the cladding did not affect these other components because it's outside the component. So for me to make it affect all part of it, I have to go inside of the component and then do that application. like so. So you see there, it's been applied here also. So do you understand that? Okay, do you understand that? Okay, Cheesy does not. Okay, I'll have to explain it again. See now, look over here. Let me select my pick tool. I've been using shortcuts if you've noticed, but let me, I'm used to it, so forgive me. I will explain all the shortcuts very soon and how you can set your own shortcuts. So now let's do this. You select the pick tool, select outside the model to actually go out of it. So now see, I will have to undo some of those things I did before now. Okay, now we have all this. If I want to make a change to only one of these models, there are two ways to go about it. Either I make this one unique by right-clicking and then selecting this Make Unique option here. If I make it unique, that means I'm making this particular model different from these two instances. So anything I do here, it shouldn't affect these ones. Now, for instance, I come here and make unique. I've already made it unique. So let me undo that. I highlight it. I come here, I do make unique. Now, if I select the paint bucket tool, and if I go inside, even if I go inside, I select the paint bucket tool, and I apply materials to this part. Let me select a material like this one. Yeah. You see, I apply material to even all the parts, like so. You see, it did not affect these other components. Yeah, did you see that? Hello, Chizzy. Okay, now why it did not affect this other component was because I made it unique. Making it unique now means that it is different from these other two. You get? Making it unique is that I've created another instance. So now if I copy it out like so, and then make changes to this part, because it is now unique, it has created its own, should I say, lineage or lifeline. Yes, I think that's a good one. It has created its own instance, if I want to say it professionally. Now it has its own instance. Do you understand what I just said? Because I've made it unique, it now has its own instance. Okay? Okay. So now, making it unique has separated it from these other two instances. Now, if I go over inside here, sorry, if I go inside here and try to edit it, let's say I push-pull this part like so, you see it's still affecting this one because both of them are still connected. They are instances of each other. Okay, now that is it. Now, about the paint bucket tool. If I apply a paint outside the component, like so if I just pick the paint bucket, select the material, and then apply it outside the paint bucket, it will not affect this other instance. Why? Because I did not go inside the components to make that change. I only did it outside the component. So it's like I'm making a cover. Do you understand? It's like I'm pouring a paint on top a covering. Do you understand, Chizzy? Okay, yes. Okay, so that is it. But if I want to make the changes inside, I have to go inside the component and make a triple click, and then select the material and then apply it. And it happens. See, now that application has altered, this one I did before now. So you see everywhere now is as this other one because I did it inside the component. Do you understand? Okay, to go inside the component, using your select tool, double click on the component. It will take you inside. Even for the groups, just double click on it. It will take you inside. Okay? Or you can highlight it, right click, and then edit component. It will take you inside. Do you understand? Okay. Okay, now. Okay, I haven't talked about that. The paint bucket. Of course, the next one is the eraser tool. For the eraser tool, like so, you see, I pick the eraser tool and then I do this. Do I still need to explain further? Do I still need to explain further? Okay, with the eraser tool, once you select it, editing outside the component won't work. First of all, editing outside the component won't work. Let's say you want to edit this now. I pick my push-pull and decide to do this. You see that caution sign there? It means that it will not work. But you can draw on top of it using the component there as a place marker. So I can decide to do this here and do this here and decide to do this and do this from here to here, from top to bottom, and do another top to bottom here. And then this is another entity. It's not as this one. This is another entity. So if I decide to edit this, it's outside this. It's not connected to this component. Chizzy, do you understand this? So you see, it's outside this. Now, if I triple click it, as in triple, 3 times, 1, 2, 3, you see it like so. I've highlighted it all. I can make it a component or a group. I can reverse the face to make it all white, like so. So I can make it a component or a group, like so. Do you understand? So it's not related to this particular component. Unless I cut it, Control X to cut it. Unless I cut it, Control X. And then go inside this component, and then I do paste in place. I come to edit. I come to paste in place. Paste in place will paste it exactly where I did cut it from, or I copied it from. So I will just do paste in place, and you see it like so. Do you understand? Okay. So now, let's get over to the next one. The next one is next one we're talking about the eraser tool. With the eraser tool, yeah, you can actually erase entities. You can erase your models. You can erase lines and all. So in this case, I want to erase this line. Note that erasing this line means that I'm taking off this face because there will be no connection between these 2 points to create a face. So I'm just going to erase this line and the line will be gone. That line is gone. If I erase this line, this face will be off because there will be no connection between these 2 points to create a face. So you see, and erase this line, and erase this line like so. That's for the ones that are not grouped or made a component. So now for the grouped ones, once I select any part of it, everything goes because they are all connected like so. Everything goes. because they are all connected, everything goes. Same goes for the components, everything goes. Because they are all connected, everything goes. Do you understand? Okay, now the next one we're going to be talking about is the line tool. As you can see, you can create lines. Okay. You can create lines like so. Of course, you can see it snapped to other points. I'm trying to do something, okay, like so, like so. So you can create lines with it. I don't need to explain much. But what I want you to know is that you can actually align your drawing to make it more specific. If you align to the green axis, of course, it will be aligned towards this direction. If you align to the red axis, it means to be aligned towards direction, and the blue axis, the Z. So we have the X, Y, and Z. Of course, you know this is the X, the red is the X, the green is the Y, and the blue is the Z. That means you're extruding towards the Z axis. Now, see what I'm going to do now. If I draw my line, you will notice if I move over this place, you see it snaps to the red axis. So you know you're drawing a straight line along the X axis, like so. Now, if I go up, like so, you see it aligned to this blue axis. It means that I am going upwards, like I am going towards the Z axis. Yes. Now, if I go, that one is for the Z axis. See, it's standing tall, yeah, because it's blue. The blue is for the Z axis. Now, if I move again and align it to the green axis, it means my line is straight and it's aligned with the Y axis, like so. Do you understand this? John Paul, are you with me? Okay, do you understand? Okay, having said that, now let's continue. I'm going to erase some of these things. I think they are crowded. So, okay, now. You must have noticed that. What happened? Do I still need to talk about it? Okay, yes, because this is a new software. All right, for AutoCAD, I told you about the blue and the green selection window. It's also applicable here. So you know the green selection window is the selection window having this detail. The lines are dotted. Yes, we have these dotted lines for the green selection window. By the blue selection window, we have a complete rectangle. Yeah. So now that's for AutoCAD. For SketchUp, both of them are gray. They are all black, like you would call them. They are all black. But you know the difference. If it has these dotted lines, it means that anything it touches will be selected, like so. But if it has this other rectangular line that is not dotted, you have to cover it fully for it to be selected, because if you do like this, it will not be selected. You have to cover it fully for it to be selected, like so. So meanwhile, we have this one. This one does not need to cover it fully and to select all. Do you understand that? That's for selection, actually. Okay, now the next one I'll be talking about is the freehand tool. With the freehand tool, you can actually draw things like you can do your signature if you can. What happened to me? Can you see my screen, please? because I just saw something like the participant can now see your screen. Before now, could you see my screen? Did you see while I was explaining the selection window and then I started using this pencil tool? Okay, okay, so we're on the same page. Okay, now, so I thought about this, and I thought about that. So now you know about the freehand tool. You can be creative with it if you want to draw things, and maybe I don't know how to use this thing. Seriously, I prefer creating my shapes with other shapes. I and freehand tool have never been aligned. Oh, this Meko Island. I don't know how many of you watched H2O. It's like Meko Island. Okay, now, I haven't done that. The next one would be, I like this actually. The rectangular tool, I'm not sure I'm going to waste much more time talking about rectangular tool. You can decide to, you know, drag as much as you want and create whatever you want to create. Okay, so I'm not going to drag much. If you notice, whatever you create, you have these lines, and those lines can act as dividers when you're pulling. Yeah, just like we have the press pull command. The lines are your dividers. So this is it. I'm trying to build city tower. Oh, I know Chizzy would like this kind of house. They come into your house. Okay, so that was on the lighter note. You want to extrude the whole shape. If you want to extrude the whole shape, there's no need dividing it now. It's the same thing. I want to extrude the whole shape. There's no need dividing. Just go all like so. There's no need dividing it if you want to extrude the whole shape. Or you select all the faces. Let's see if that will work. Let me push both these ones first of all. Let's do one at a time. If you want to extrude the whole face, there's no need dividing it. You just have to do it. Or you can create one like this and then double click on the rest to meet up with that height. Like so. Do you understand this? Yes, the lines will be preventing. So you can just extrude one and double click the others. So you have a very nice extrude. How can you erase the dividing line? By using the erase tool. By using the erase tool. So you do this. Yes, by using the erase tool, you can divide it. You can erase the dividing line by doing this, doing this, doing this. Let's say you want this out and you want this one out also. And then you want this one out also. Okay, so do you understand this? Jump up. Okay, so we're on the same page. So that is it. Extrude. Okay, now, so we've done that. Now we're going to the next one, which is rotate. What I did not tell you, or what I haven't told you yet, is that you can actually impute your data while you're working. Let's say you want to draw a line of some units, let's say 5 meters, 5 inches, and thereabout. Once you click on your first point, do not click and drag. Just like AutoCAD, click on your first point, release, and just like you draw on AutoCAD, click your first point, drag it to your direction, like just extend your mouse to your direction to align to that point. Once it's aligned, if you look here, over here, you see this. This is saying 108 meters because the length of this current line is 108 meters. But you can decide how many meters you want. Let's say you want 30 meters. You can just type 30 meters on your keyboard. No need to take your mouse there and click. Just type 30, enter, and you have 30 meters drawn. So you go to your next position. Let's do a plot of land. So it should be 30 by 15. Yeah? So do 15. Do 30. Then close. So now we have a plot of land, right? Like so. So you understand that part, right? Where you have to impute data, even for the rectangle. You click on your first point. Now, looking at it, you will know which part is the larger part and which part is the smaller part. So you see the smaller side there is 14.25 meters, while the larger part there is 52.70 meters. So now you will have to put the first one, which is the larger part, followed by a comma, and then impute the second one. So let's say you want 100 by 50, do 100, 50, and enter it. So you have it like so. Do you understand, please? Do you understand? Okay, I will explain again. For the line, if you look down here, this place called length. It changes with any of the tool you're using. Yes, it's acting as your dynamic input tool. So it changes with respect to the tool you're using. In this case, I'm using a line, so you see length there. If I go to rectangle, you see dimension. If I go to circle, you see sides, number of sides. Because in SketchUp, the circle is not a perfect circle. It's like a polygon. Yes, the circle are created with sides. So it's like a polygon. The larger the number, the smoother the curve of the circle will be. So let me just do this. And let me zoom in. If I zoom in, you see the segments of this circle. It's like it's been segmented. And you can actually divide them like a pie or a pizza. So that is it, but that's not where I want to talk about. So I want to talk about this and what this thing stands for. So with the line, it will actually tell you the length of the line. So if I click my first point and drag, you see the line increasing. Just look the lower right corner. You see the line increases and it decreases with respect to how long or short the line is. So I can impute the distance there, and I say I want it to be of 1,000. Sorry, I don't want 1,500 meters. So I want 200 meters. 200 meters, and I okay. Giving you 200 meters, you see it went far even inside this. So I'm going to do this 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to group it so I can take it out or move it like so. Okay, now we have our line. And this line, if you measure it, if you just take the tape tool and measure it, see it's to the end point is 200 meters. Do you understand that? Okay, I should explain the rectangle. Okay, now this is for the line. Now for the rectangle, if I pick my first point, like so, and then I just drag. If you look there, you see dimensions. Now for the dimensions, you see one of them is bigger and the other one is smaller. Sometimes it gets tricky, so this is the easiest way to identify it. So now the biggest side there is talking about the width, yeah, the x-axis, while the smaller size there is talking about the y-axis. Understood? Understood? Please type. Jump on. Okay. Okay. So now, if you want to put accurate details, all you have to do is pay attention to which side is bigger and which side is smaller as you are extending your rectangle, so you know what to impute. Now, you know that the width or the x-axis is the first one and the y-axis is the second one. So now you have to put the x-axis first. In this case, we want to be 100 and followed by a comma to show that, okay, I'm done with the x-axis, I want to go back to the y-axis. Once you impute comma, it means that you're going to the y-axis now. And then you impute the distance of the y-axis, which is 100 by 50. And you go. So you have it like so. A rectangle created, let me reverse the face so I see white, I like seeing white. So you have a rectangle created of 100 by 50. So if I pick this tape and measure here, you see it will be equal to 100 meters, and then this part will be equal to 50 meters. Do you understand this? Jesus, my man. Okay, understood. All right, so having said that, let's go over to the next two. Rotated rectangle. You want to create a rectangle that is rotated, click on the rotated rectangle, and first of all, you have to make your inclination. You start from a point, select the next point, and then you rotate, which is crazy actually. So I've created a rectangle that is not. Now, see this here, I will just have to go to the front view to do something. I created a rectangle that is rotated. Now, if I view from this side, see that the rectangle is rotated. Do you understand this? No. Do you understand? Oh, one person understands. Okay. Okay, now let me repeat myself. You want to create a rotated rectangle. First of all, you choose the face, select your first point, select your second point, and then you create. So if I start here to create it, you see the rectangle is lying on the floor because I use the green axis. That means it's aligned to this green axis. But that's not what I want. I select again. I select here. And I create my rectangle. Like so. So you see it's slanted. Do you understand now, Cheesy? Okay. Let's move over to the next one. Rotated rectangle, of course, the next one is circle. Select your center point, and then blah, blah, blah. Like so. The next one is polygon. We have the number of sides here. You can actually change the number of sides and put, let's say, 15 or 8 sides. And then you start to draw the polygon. So you see it has 8 sides. Then your arc tool, just like all other tools, so your arc, start point, end point, and draw your arc. The next one is 3-point arc. Sorry, 2-point arc. Like we have 3-point arc. We have pi, and of course you can just go over this. This one is scale, just like we have scale. You can scale your model to whatever factor. I told you any factor less than 1 is reducing the size. Any factor greater than 1 is actually increasing the size. Offset, we all know what offset is. So this creates an offset. Let's say for instance, I want to offset this object. I can just offset it according to the distance. Let's say I want it to go 20 meters or 10. 10 meters, enter. And it's been offsetted by 10 meters. I can then use that as a fence to create my own pool. I want it to be a pool. I want it to be a kiddie's pool, like so. So I can then move this guy upward a little. So it should be like this, and then I'll come here and look for water material. Water. And select it. And then which other one? This one looks clean. Just apply it here. So I don't like color of water. So I think I like this color. So we have a pool there. Don't worry, if you render it, you see the effect of the water. So now let's do it this way. I think it's just too big. You can see it now, right? So that is it. Can edit it to make it bigger, to make it 50. Okay. So you see your water like so. Let's make it 70. Okay, so we have a pool there. Well, that was on the lighter note. Does anybody understand this? What I just did? Cheesy. John Paul. Enidium. To some extent. Okay, you don't need to understand the other part for now. Don't worry. I will explain this in detail on another session, not today. I'm just trying to get you acquainted with this. So you know this is like the basic here. Yeah, it's like the basic here. So you should get acquainted with this. So now let's talk about the next one. Talk about this, talk about that. This one is move. Yeah, you see me use shortcut for move. So now we'll be using this one to move. Let me talk about the move tool. Let me just highlight and delete these guys. Now let me make this a component because I want it to be kept. I'll just right click, make component. I say Polygon move pool. Please, it's not liquidity pool for the crypto people. Okay, so that is it. Polygon pool. It's not the Polygon pool, you know, my brother. Okay, now let me do this. I want to move this pool. I highlight it. I select the move tool. And of course, I need to select the base point. I can decide to use this point here as a base point, or select any part of it here as a base point, and then move it wherever I like. Because it is grouped, I can easily move it. I can move it to this point and keep, and then select this point, and then move it down to this axis. Like so, and keep it here. Okay? I can also track selecting it. I can also track any of these points I want. I can track this point or this end point here and go that way. So it's being tracked. And I keep it like so. I pick this point and track this end point and follow that tracking and place it. That's the moving. Now, if I want to make copies of this, it does not have copy command like we do in AutoCAD. What you can do is right click. Sorry, highlight it. Select it. Go to edit. And you can either copy and then come again, edit to do paste. like so. Or you can do another one where you have to select a point to move it by selecting your move tool and selecting your base point. Once you select your base point to move it, all you need to do is tap your control key. All you need to do is tap your control key to move a copy, like so. Just your control key on your keyboard rather, and you are moving a copy. So you want to move again, select it again, tap your control key to move a copy, and then you're moving it. Do you understand? Okay, you understand. Okay, now I haven't understood that. I think I can move to the next one, which is press pull. Of course, I've used this tool severally since we started, so you must have known what it means. So let me explain some other part of it also. For this, I'm going to delete some of these things. I'm deleting this one. I'm going to leave this too. This is a group, or this is not a group. Now for the press pull, see what happens. Select the press pull. It's actually called push pull here, not press pull. Or I'm used to that term, press pull. Oh my God. Okay, now for the push pull tool, all you need to do is push a face. Yes. Use this to push a face. If it's not a face, you cannot push it. Yes, you cannot push a line. For instance, this line, you cannot push it. And you cannot push anything that is being grouped or inside a component like so. Unless you go into the components to edit it. You understand? Edit group or edit component. That's when you can do this. Close to. Do you understand? You can only push faces directly when they are not grouped. You can only push faces directly when they are not grouped, like so. Now, if you want to push pull and then create something like a marker from where you're pushing from or where you're pulling from, you can click to push pull and then tap Control key. So it creates that marker that, okay, this was where the object was pulled from or pushed from. So there you have it. Okay, now we can continue and pull upwards and then tap Control. It gives you a demarcation like so. You can do this, tap Control, it gives you another demarcation like so. Do you understand this? Okay, I haven't said that. The next one now is pushing to your previous height or pulling to your previous height. Let's say I did this. Let's say they're something like pillars, and I want this pillar to be tall. Come there, make it this tall, up to this height. And I create another rectangle. SketchUp actually remembers the height of this your previously pulled item. Yes. So all you need to do is with the push pull tool, just double click, and it will be extruded according to the height of your previously pushed or pulled model. So let's double click. See, it goes there. Now if I do the same here, by going into this group and push pull, it will actually be push pull to the height of this from the base point. So you see, it goes down. This one went all down. I don't want it to go down. I want it to come up actually. This one went back down because the face is being reversed. So we don't want to do that on the reversed face. Come on. reverse the face. Now you see, it went upwards. Because the face was reversed, it went the reverse direction. Do you understand this? Okay, someone understands it. Okay, now we're talking about the next one, rotates. It's actually rotating an item. And I think that's where we'll have to draw the curtain for today, so I don't bore you. From our next class, I will cover the rest, and then we get on to, maybe we can cover it today. They are quite simple, but I'm just taking my time to explain them. So you know what we're doing, and we actually understand it. Okay, now the rotates. If I select rotate to, and in this case, let me go back out of all groups. Now I want to rotate. I want to rotate this group item. I select the rotate tool. Now I pick my base points. This, of course, this is the point that stays and it's not moved. Now, if you notice, it aligns to all the axes. Like we have the green axis, we have the blue axis, and we should have the red axis somewhere around there. Yes, we have the red axis there. So this red axis means that the red axis, which is the x-axis, will be like your base point. That means this object will be rotating about your x-axis. Yeah. So if I click here and click my second point, which is this other point, and then start rotating, you see it's rotating about the red axis. That's not what I want. So let me go over and extend the next one. The next one is let me extend the green axis now. If I select the green axis in this case and select this point, okay, and let's rotate. You see, it's rotating about the green axis, like so. Do you understand? Do you understand? This is the chat box. It's rotating about the green axis, like so. Now, the next one is, I don't want to do that again, the blue axis. Of course, you know, the blue axis is this vertical axis here. So I'm going to select the blue axis, select my second point, and then rotate. You see, it's rotating about the blue axis. So if I want to impute a rotation angle, I just do 30 in this case and enter for 30 degrees rotation. Do you understand that? Cheesy, yes, John Paul, yes, everyone, yes. Okay. So that's it for the rotation. Scale, offset. Okay, we'll talk about, I explained this and this. This one is follow me to. I'll talk about this later on. The tape, of course, is for measurements, just like we have a measure tool and we know dimensioning. We have protractor, talk about it also later on. Text, you can add text to it. You can do 3D text. Axis, this is to align your axis. Orbit, of course, you know orbit. Now, let me talk about orbiting and panning. For AutoCAD, you pan just by clicking down your center mouse wheel, yeah? That's AutoCAD. But for SketchUp, that's the opposite. You actually orbit by just clicking your center mouse wheel without using your shift key. But if you want to pan, you have to hold down your shift key and then try to orbit. Yes, that's how you pan. You hold down your shift key and then your center mouse wheel to pan. But to orbit, you don't need to hold down your shift key. You just do that normally and it goes. Of course, this one is to zoom. I can zoom into this and zoom out like so. I don't like using it because I have my mouse wheel. I can screw in and out to do that. I can zoom to extent. It has everything zoomed out. I can zoom to a selection window like so. Okay. I can go to my previous zoom to go back to the zoom it's where before I did this zoom window. Okay. So this one is later on position cameras, where you position the camera to see, so I can position the camera here. And it will be like I am standing at that position. Yeah. If I want to position my camera at the front, so let's say I go to the front view, and I want to position my camera here, looking at everything. I just decide to stand here. I need to stand here and be looking at it like a man. You understand? Okay. So that's about position camera. I can use this to walk around my area. I'm inside this polygon right now. I want to go out. Okay. I think I saw an exit. Hey, come on. I have to zoom out and then orbit. Or zoom to extend to actually save time. Okay, so we have that, and this one is section plane to insert a section plane. We'll talk about that later. Okay, so that is it for today. I hope you gain value from today's class. If you gain value, you know what to do. If you did not, actually be sincere. Yeah, jump on my man. Okay, Idiom Celestine. Cheesy. Okay. Now we've come to the end of today's session. I'm going to stop the live sharing right away. Just going to stop the live sharing. So